Hi, I'm Mr. Boyd, and I'm here to tell you what my favorite strategy is that I used during gifting endorsement. And my favorite, personally, was a round table review. There are many different reasons why. I'll go through it, but the first thing I want to do is break down exactly what I did for my students. First and foremost, they went ahead. They took a nice pre-assessment. Now, as far as connecting this to my content, obviously, we're connecting it to World War II, which we study in Georgia Studies. They took this. Now, if they made a 75% more, meaning they made a 3 out of 4, then guess what? They got grouped in Group A for the differentiation. If they made it into Group B, it's because they got only 2 or less right, which makes them have a 50% or less, and that tells me we still need to cover the standards. So, put them in Group B. And here's the difference. Everyone, of course, is given this right here. This is a nice little organizer going over topic, what I remember, why I learned, just trying to see, exactly if they have any information at all in their little brains. We want to know that, to be able to measure growth. So everybody gets this initially, even people in Group A, same worksheet. But you'll notice something. Let's start traveling to the tables. So these students, they're told specifically, each time they go to a station, the round table discussion, they have 7 minutes to preview a document. Now, most tables you're going to see are going to come with a standard. This one, for instance, says, explain the impact of the Holocaust on Georgians. Well, wouldn't you know, impact of Holocaust in Georgia, that's the document they get. There are 4 specific tables. This one right here, which goes over the importance of Bell Aircraft and Carl Vinson, another standard. This table over here represents Standard A, describe the events leading to World War II, and you got a nice document here, FDR and the war. And then, of course, going back over to this table, we got Standard D, discuss President Roosevelt's ties to Georgia. So we got a wonderful document over here about Franklin D. Roosevelt and Georgia. Now, here's the differentiation aspect. Everyone that is in Group B must go to those 4 tables and those 4 tables only. Cool thing is, if you made it into Group A, since I already know that you know up to 75% of the standards and material, I'm telling you, you can go to any table that you want. It doesn't matter to me. You don't have to be limited to the ones that go strictly over the standards. So for instance, over at this table, we have a wonderful document about the Japanese surrender, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Also a part of the standard, but also an extension. And then over here on the other side of the room, because we always want to make sure that the little ones are walking, economy and the war effort. Okay, so it's going into even more specifics, but again, not necessarily related to the standards, but does touch on them a little bit. The best thing I did, because you might be wondering, well, what about the ones that may 100%? Like they knew all the standards and everything, they didn't need anything else. Well, that's when I created this extension activity. Now, this extension activity calls for them to still go up to the stations. Like I said, if you were in Group A, you can go to any one that you want. And you'll notice that the words bolded here is describe, evaluate, explain, discuss. We're talking Bloom's taxonomy here, evaluate being one of the highest. Okay? So we're giving them an extension activity where they're taking the standards and they're going above and beyond with them. So, like I said, they were given 7 minutes to actually go over the document, and then they were given 2 minutes to debrief themselves, talk about it in their groups. They were typically grouped in groups of 3 to 5. And, like I said, we connected it to the content through World War II. I think this is most effective in class because, personally, I feel like this assignment really brought the students out of their shells, made them feel more comfortable, gave a real sense of being peers with people. There's actually a wonderful quote that I found through my research A woman named Caroline S. Parsons. She has an article that I found called Space and Consequences, the Influence of the Roundtable Classroom Design and on Student Dialogue. She says, in this study, both instructors and students reported that the roundtable classroom provides students with the opportunity to speak openly, to develop their own voices, and to engage in debate and dialogue about the readings or current events. So in our words, and this was a longitudinal study, and it was done even in colleges, they find that creating a classroom environment that is a roundtable discussion or review type of environment actually makes students feel more comfortable, gives a better sense of community, and also gives a better motivation and creates higher achievement in general. So it's a wonderful practice, and that's the reason why it's actually one of my favorite strategies. And again, I have to elaborate on the fact that, I really did like this strategy because I love seeing my students go up, walk around the room, talk with each other, get excited, be challenged, especially those who made 100, really be challenged. Evaluate the material, don't just recall it. This strategy in general could be used in any subject area. I don't see why this couldn't be used in mathematics. I don't see why it couldn't be used in science. I don't see why it couldn't be used in ELA. It can be used in any sort of subject area that requires some form of debate, thought processing, just debating over ideas in general, and not being afraid to do so. I don't think there's anything more that I can really say about the strategy itself, except for the fact that it's just great for the kids and it's fun for the kids, and they enjoy it and they still learn. Now I just want to show you my citation over here. Once again, this was the woman I quoted, Space and Consequences, the Influence of the Roundtable Classroom Design on Student Dialogue by Caroline S. Parsons. I took this quote from page 19 and 20 on the PDF file, which is also saved on my flash drive. If you need further proof for it, you can Google it. It's whatever. And that's a wrap for me.